Okay.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Eric Castro with Starting from the Bottom. I got a special guest on with me today. It's Doc. Doc, let's say what's up.
What's up?
All right, cool. Now, so the topic for the day is going to be cleaning up your shit. Clean it up.
Cleaning up shit.
All right,
Yes,
and
sir.
so Fonzie is the one. Doc, he came up with the idea here for the topic of the day. So, Fonz, let's just jump right into it. What are you talking about here?
So, I'm sitting at the gym, right? And I'm not sitting at the gym, I'm working out at the gym, right? And I'm finishing up, my workout week. I'm this is my last week in a 4-week series that I got going right now for myself. I've been at it, for a lot longer than 4 weeks, but this is my bodybuilding session right now where I'm just working on myself and today, I'm hitting up my sets. I have goals that I want to reach, and as far as the goals are concerned, I'm hitting all of my goals, and I'm just feeling really good. I'm feeling excellent about hitting all my goals. And so then, as I'm walking, to the spot, to my rest area, I'm finished up for the day and everything, and it just, the spirit hits me, and I'm looking at there's dog shit on the ground, there's trash on the ground, there's all this shit everywhere, and it's like, it's the reality, right? It's cleaning up our own shit, right? And so, how do I get to the goal that I was at today, right? That was the question. How did I get to feeling as good as I feel right now? Now, have I arrived yet? Nah. I just arrived to this goal, right? And so now I can push myself forward. But how was I going to get myself to this goal? How was I going to get myself to today? And it goes back to starting from the bottom. It goes back to our topic from our original topic and what we're doing. It's the heart and the passion of what we're trying to do and what we're accomplishing day in and day out. It's cleaning up our shit. If we don't clean up our shit, if I don't go back, I had to lose 75 pounds first. I can't just jump in the gym and start thinking that I'm going to have a perfect body posture to do the workouts that I need to do.
Right.
Because they're movements, they're workout movements, right? And so each workout movement has its discipline. If I'm doing a squat, I have to make sure that my back is in the proper form. My hips are doing what they're supposed to be doing. I need to have the proper form in order for me to complete that movement, right? Regardless of whatever the weight is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but if I have a gut that's overlapping my knees, obviously I'm not going to be able to do the form that I need to get into because I'm not ready for it yet.
Right.
So what do I have to do first?
You gotta lose your gut.
Well, I got to clean up my own shit, right? I got to clean up my shit. I got to clean up what I can't ignore what I've done, and I think that's the essence of the whole of our problem in our society now, is that we want it now, but we don't want to do anything. We don't want to clean up the shit that we left behind.
That brings me to like a thought right now. Is like at one point in my life, I was really in really good shape. Like, I'm in good shape now, but I was in really good shape, right? And I was in the military, I was training and all that shit. So of course I had to be. And then on top of it, I was going into a certain program in the military, so I had to be in shape. So and then I get to where I'm at right now, and I just think I already have it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good. But even that, I went through an injury, and I always have to humble myself, like wanting to be good, like I'm good, I could put up the weight I used to, but I had to like really humble myself and put myself down to like just like baby weights to begin with. And I've already had to build all the way up, and now I'm doing plates again. I started with just the bar, and now I'm doing plates, squatting and deadlifting and this and that. So I mean, it's just, I guess it's just that foundational, buildup that is what you're talking about.
And the whole thing is that this is, cleaning up our shit can be applied to everything. You can't. The bottom line is we can't ignore what we've already done. We can't ignore it. We can let it go, right? We get saved by grace, yes, but we will absolutely reap what we've sowed. We'll absolutely reap it. And so we can't expect that what we've already planted not to reap what we've already planted, right? Whatever we've sowed already, we're absolutely going to reap, And so it's like, okay, but is it a big deal? Well, what is it? What do you do that's why it's so hard in our society nowadays, because not too many people understand the concept of reaping and sowing, because we're not farmers anymore. We don't do those things that we used to do anymore. Now everything is just kind of given to us at the store. So we don't know what it's like to take a life, to give a life. We don't know what it's like to have to kill that pig that we ate this morning, or that cow that we ate, last night. We don't know what it's like to do that anymore. And so it's like we've lost that essence, and so it's hard to figure that out. But if we're really looking for it, we'll find it. And the truth is that cleaning it up, it's like credit. You might ignore Sprint. You might ignore that you just burnt Sprint, AT&T, and Verizon Wireless, right? But when it's time to get a phone again and you need to get the credit,
who's going to give it to you?
Who's going to give it to you? It doesn't matter. 6 months went away. You're going to be like, okay, well, it's been a year. Okay, so you go back after a year. What's going to happen?
Like, hey, buddy, you got to pay your bill before you get.
Yeah, that's right.
It's going to be there.
But it's going to be there, absolutely. But you know what the great thing about it is that every time that I've failed in something, I've always been able to go back and clean it up if I want to clean it up, and I always reestablish my credit. And that's the whole point, is reestablishing the credit that we have in our life. It applies to everything across the board. Whether it's your relationships, whether it's your credit, whether it's your health, you can't ignore it. You can't ignore it. You can't ignore what you've already done. But you can do everything you need to do to fix those things that you've messed up. Some things are irreversible, maybe. Some things, but not all things. And so it's like, okay, well, like you said, I have to really humble myself. I know that I can do this amount of weight, as an example. I know that I used to be able to run, 6-minute miles or whatever, right? I can't do a 10-minute mile for the life of me. So do I quit? Or do I figure out how to get back to that 6-minute mile? What did I do then? And that's the great thing about being able to start over again. Because truly, we have the opportunity every single day to start over. Truly, we have the opportunity every single day that we open our eyes. One day is down. The second day, it's again. We have all of the experience that we had the prior, however many days that you've been alive.
The human experience.
And we have exactly. When I woke up this morning, I had 40 years under my belt already when I woke up this morning. But with a brand new opportunity today to use everything that I know for the last 40 years, I can apply it to my day-to-day and not make the same mistakes that I made 20 years ago. If I apply myself, if I'm focused, if I care, if I'm awake and if I'm alive, and if it even matters to me.
Right.
And that's the thing, is that we get so focused, we get so caught up on being tied up and distracted. We get so distracted on nonsense. And I'm the first one to say it.
And it's nonsensical.
It's just it didn't lead me anywhere. Well, it did. It did. It led me to almost destroying myself. Others have already been down that path, and they're no longer with us.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay, well, am I going to continue down their path? Or do I want to continue living the life that I was given and enjoy my day-to-day? Enjoy what I'm doing today. I know that, okay, well, I have all these things that I need to take care of. Well, start with one. If you have 2,000 items on your plate that you need to clean, start with one. And day by day, sometimes you can clear out 2-3 items in a day. Sometimes you can clear out even more than that,
That's
depending
right.
on what it is. Some things take a little bit longer. It's taken me about a year to lose 75 pounds.
Yeah,
and
man.
I have, and it hasn't even been a year yet. Really?
Right. And I've been on my, weight loss / fitness journey for like coming up on 2 years, like it's been year and a half, almost 2 years now. And, the habits that I've just, these, like right now, I'm just thankful for the habits I've built up over those 2 years, because that's the only thing that's like keeping me going is the habit. You know what I mean? So it's just what I do now. And if I didn't have that habit, I probably would have already fallen off. But that's why it's so important to start building those habits early, like getting up early and going to the gym and eating the right foods and this and that and the other. Because I can turn it up a notch, but it's tiring. I've been doing it for so long now, and
Right.
now like I let the habit. I rest. I get comfortable in my habits, which is where I'm most comfortable. You get it? I'm most
Yeah.
comfortable in my habit right now, and now I'm just like taking a rest because I know I'm going to be turning it up here pretty soon again. You know, that's like
Right.
that's like when you see the gains and you're getting that rest just so you can see your gains and whatnot. It's kind of the same thing. That's the way life goes. It's up and down. And that's one thing I learned about being bipolar too. Life is just an up and down, and sometimes I'm super manic and sometimes I'm super down. But you know what? You have to learn. You have to learn to live in your habits in both of those, and
Right.
that's what's easy now. So now where do I go from here? Like kind of like what you're saying. Now you
Right.
turn it up a notch, right?
Right.
Continue to
And
get
and,
better.
and that's the thing is that I can tell myself I can tell myself whatever I want. Like just starting off this morning. Just starting off this morning. Last night I knew that it was late. I knew that it was late. It was about an hour past the time that I needed to be already with my eyes shut and resting. I already knew it. And so I already knew that I was setting myself up for failure for the second day, right? I already knew it. In my mind, I was like already, dude, you need to go to sleep already. Dude, you need to go to sleep already. And so it's like, I finally passed out. I don't even know what time I passed out. And so, anyways, the alarm comes on, right? And usually I'm up before the alarm, but this time the alarm woke me up, right? And I'm like, dude, and I'm like already like, oh man. And so I'm like, I'm procrastinating. I'm already, as soon as I wake up, I already set myself up in my mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I lost focus a little bit. It happens. It's just gonna happen. And so, but what are you gonna do with the information that you have? And so it's like I woke up this morning, and the alarm goes off at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it took me about 20 minutes. But I could have stayed in bed.
Mm-hmm.
It took me 20 minutes to slap myself up and get myself up, but I got myself up at 4:20.
That's because
Right?
it's a habit now.
Yes.
It's just the shit that you do. That's just what I do. I just get up at 4 o'clock. I just get up at 5 o'clock. I just get up at whatever time,
But I can't. I'm not gonna sit there and lie. I had thoughts. I'm like, just kick it. You don't need to be there, that early. All of a sudden I started getting all this bullshit going through my head, and I'm like, you know what? Shut your ass up. Get up. Stop it. Get your ass up. And I was like, dude, I got up. I got up real quick before I even had another thought in my mind. I threw the light on so I can have the light in my eyes. I'm like, I'm not going to allow myself to continue to lie to myself. No, this is what I do now. This is what I do. And sure enough, I kept pressing forward. And what was great about it? What was great about it is that because I'm constantly feeding myself information, because I'm constantly reading books, I'm constantly feeding myself, discipline. I'm feeding myself, information that's going to help me get through these things. Those were the first things that came into my head when I was going through when I was fighting myself, because it's myself who I'm fighting, right? We're fighting ourselves, and so all of a sudden, words from a book come into my head, And it's like, when you're feeling this, this is what, this is what you're going to feel like. All of a sudden, like, I'm reading back what I've already read throughout the day. And it's coming back to me, and it's helping me because it's still me. It's just the words that are in me now.
Yeah. It's you raised your vibration, you know. You no longer deal with those things that don't serve you. And and those even come down to thoughts, you know. Okay, so for example, it was yesterday morning. It was leg day, and I was like, man, I was late to the gym. Plain and simple. I was 10 minutes late, and I was late to the gym. Okay. And then so today I was early to the gym. Like, I didn't like being late. I didn't start on my time. I started with the rush yesterday, and I didn't like that. So today I got there early, and I took my time, and I did everything right, and I did, I felt really good about it. So that's a habit that you got to get into too. Like, if you fuck up one day, you wanna double up on the next day. Or if you mess up and you're late, you give it 110% instead of 100%. Like, you have to make up for where you're lacking. Am I right?
Absolutely. I mean, dude, when I set off to do what I was telling you this morning, I hit all of my goals. And, I had something going on with my shoulder. My shoulder started acting funky, like I started feeling like a little pinch in there, and I notated it. I pushed through it. I notated it. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to ignore that I feel a pinch. I'm not going to ignore that it hurts. It hurts. Something's funky in my elbow and my shoulder. Mm-hmm. But I'm just keep it going. And if I really have to stop, then it's okay. But just keep it going. There's no reason to quit just because I feel a little pain.
Right.
Just keep it going. Make sure that you're focused and make sure that your posture is correct. And, that's the difference. It's not, oh man, I hurt. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm done. I'm not going to work out.
Yeah. That's the point where, that's okay. So all your muscles, there's like little muscles in there that are still on the baby muscles. You know what I mean? And they're still getting ripped and still getting torn. But they're just mixed in there with all your other muscles that are doing the same thing, So yeah, you're gonna hurt, your joints are gonna hurt, or it's gonna feel like it's your joints or whatever. But you just got to build up that muscle so it doesn't hurt so bad. You got to make it hurt first.
Right. And I just, it's the biggest part about it is that here we are. We're in the moment right now, and is it hard? Yes, it's not. I'm not going to sit there and try to water it down. Is it hard to lose 75 pounds? Well, yes, but not really. Is it hard to get up every morning? Yes, but not really. It's like, it's just one of those things where I can focus on how hard it is, or I can focus on just getting it done.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, whatever you focus on is what you give life to. And so if I focus on how hard it is, I'm going to have a hard time every time.
Right.
And if I focus on, like, okay,
how good you feel.
This is what I do. I get up at 4:00 and there's no questions. And that's the truth. And so then you wake up and there's no questions. You created that for yourself, And sure, there's going to be some days where it's like, damn, it's okay. So just push through it. Even if you are feeling it, just push through it. It's just, that's discipline.
And that's the beauty. That's the beauty about having to be able to work from home too. Like, okay,
right.
I don't feel like getting up. Oh, well, don't be a little bitch. Well, you know what? I'm gonna listen to my body and I'm gonna sleep in, and I can go later. Why? Because I can do that.
Right.
Like, where's that attitude? I have it now. I've had to humble myself to have that type of attitude. But now I have it. So now I'm okay with it. I can go at 11 o'clock, and I can push myself to go at 11 o'clock if I miss my 5 a.m. morning coffee at the gym. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's the thing is that, it's just get it done. Just get it done. Whatever it is that you're dealing with. Some people, are still on the 9 to 5. Some people, the 9 to 5 as an example, right? Because, there's all kinds of different shifts now. You have, first shift, second shift, third shift, fourth shift, all these shifts now, because things are 24 hours a day nowadays,
Right.
And so whatever your shifts are, so just get it done. Whatever your shift is. I mean, some people, 90% of the population is clocking in somewhere, and so it's like, I know, because I was there. I know what it's like. And so, when I was clocking in, I knew that I was going to be at work at, I needed to be on the job site by 6:30 so I can start at 7. I knew that I needed to be at the gym at 3.
Right. And then no questions.
Because,
No questions. I used to have to drive from New Jersey to D.C. But I'd have to get up at 2:00 in the morning so I can be there at 6. And that was a 4-hour drive. And I used to make it, and I used to do it because I had to.
Right.
Nobody's special. Everybody goes through that shit. I've already done it, and I don't want to do it anymore. Thank you. So I'm going to sleep in a little bit.
Right. And that's the difference in the freedom. I mean, dude, I remember when I was up north. I was up north, and I hadn't been. I was. We were in the high desert for a while, and I didn't have to be at Harley until 9:00 in the morning, and so I had all kinds of time. Compared to my previous place of employment, and I was like, dude, I got all kinds of time. I had time to wake up and work out and eat breakfast. You'd make the kids breakfast. I mean, it was great, And then I go up north, and it's like now I'm back on the grind, and doing that 2.5. And that was really it was an hour. It was an hour and a half without traffic. And so, but in the mornings, I would get up at about 2:30 in the morning, and I would be on the road by about 3:15, and there was already more than 2,500 cars on the road.
Yeah.
Easily. Every fucking morning was the same thing. I just could not believe the amount of traffic in the Northern California area. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, I know this is crazy. I know I'm fighting because I don't gotta be at work. I don't gotta be at work till 8:00. And so I'm sitting here like I'm trying to make sure I get, because I gotta get through traffic for the next 3.5 hours, and I'm sitting here every day looking at the same thing. I'm dealing with the same. I'm spending just the same amount of time in traffic that I'm spending at work, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, and this is for those of us that want to wake up out of that, right? Because again, some people are comfortable with that. I knew right away that this wasn't the life that I wanted to live.
If I'm doing it for myself, it's a different story. If I'm getting up that early to go to the gym and beat the shit out of myself, that's on me. That's something I want to do. But getting up at 2:30 to have to drive to 4 hours to work, that's something I don't want to do. Period.
Right.
Period. That's just something I don't want to do.
And see, it's not being like I guess insensitive to those that do it every day. I get it.
I get it. I've done it.
Yeah.
We're talking. If you like what we're talking about, this is what it's like. Being able to work from home.
Yes.
These are the conversations that people that work from home have. We're relieved. We're relieved. Like we've done it. I've worked hard, so I don't have to be there no more.
That's exactly what it comes down to. This is what I mean by cleaning up our own shit. Is that I got to that point again because I had already, lost my business, right? And so I had to get back into the grind of things so I can make some money. So I knew, it's not that hard to figure out how to get back on track, especially if you don't have income coming in from other places. You can figure out where to get it. There's always a way to figure it out. The sacrifices that you have to make.
Right.
But I hate being in traffic so much that I figured out that I would rather work from home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's, do you really? I mean, because I hear people complaining about it. It's just like complaining about fat. You know, oh man, I can't. You know, I'm so fat. You know, and it's just like I don't know what to do about it. Bullshit.
You know exactly what to do about it.
Exactly what to do about it. But you would rather be stuck in traffic for the next 4 hours.
And that's like me right now. You know, like if there, remember that extra notch I was talking about?
Yeah.
You know, like I have my winter coat on right now. You know what I mean? And I want to get rid of that. How do I do that? You get extra cardio during the day. You go push yourself extra all day long. You know, like it's one of those things that how fast do you want it? How much do you want it? Show me. You know, like how many push-ups are you doing? How many sit-ups are you doing? You know, like show me show me how big you want to be.
Right. And that's the truth, bro. That's the truth. Just doing it right. And the whole thing is doing it right. It's not, you know, there's no fucking shortcuts. There is no shortcuts. That's the truth. There is no shortcuts. There is getting it done. There is getting it done. You know, there's getting it done. Can you make things easier? Yeah, if they're hard. I've noticed that every time that I go to the gym and I put on my 90% amount of weight, almost my max rep, once I hit my max reps on all of my sessions, and then I go back and then I hit my goal weight as far as being able to hit my sets and my reps the way that I want, I notice that I can do it easier now since I made it harder for myself in the beginning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I know.
That's kind of the same thing like with proper form too, you know, because when I went in there, you know, when I started with my baby weights and everything, I was starting with my proper form, and yeah, you know, those muscles in your shoulders, those things are gonna hurt. Those things are gonna tweak, but those are the ones that you were working for, you know, you know, you're trying to rip those ones so they get stronger.
I want everything to catch up.
I want everything to catch up all at the same time. I want to be strong, you know, with good form. That's just power.
Yeah. Yes.
That's just straight power. When you're doing everything with perfect form.
Yes. And that's exactly what it is. You know, you know, going back to the you know, we're on the health side of things a lot right now. And I know you know, we can apply this again to credit. We can apply this to anything. But right now we're on the health side of things. And so it's like, okay, I know that I can hit 225, which for a lot of guys, it's no big deal. But for me, it is because I'm just getting back in, right? And so I'm talking about where we're at right now. And so I can hit 225, but it took me about a month to get to that point, right? And so I'm hitting 225 max. So then about 60% of that, you know, I'm right sitting around 160, 175. Let's just say 170, 175, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then my goal is to hit those 175s perfect form every single set 10 times.
Yes. That'd be beautiful.
10 times. And that's exactly what my goal was. And that's exactly what I did. And that's exactly what I'm doing. But now that I can hit the 225, the 175 is easy. And 175 is not easy. But I made it easier.
Right.
I made it easier because I'm pushing myself in other areas. I'm pushing that. I know that I can push 225. I know that I can push 225. So then I know I can push 175.
Right.
You know, and that's the bottom line. You do the hard things so that the things that were hard, you do the harder things to make the things that were hard easier. And that's just what it comes down to. Is it hard to change your lifestyle? Yes, it's hard to change your lifestyle. Make it harder on yourself so that way it becomes easier later.
You know, getting on that topic, you know, when we're talking about changing the lifestyle, you know, how much are we changing the lifestyle really? I mean, like, for me, it's like a 180, you know, like I'm going in the complete opposite direction that I used to be. You know, um,
Absolutely.
like I mean, how much of a change in direction did you do?
Oh, dude, for me, it's I am for those people that knew me before. If they would see me right now, they'd be like, dude, you broke yourself. You're broken. They would think that I'm like lost. They would probably think that I went crazy. People would think that I went crazy, and that's exactly why I don't want to be around anybody, because people would talk shit, talking about how crazy I am. But it's like, no, you're crazy for staying in the situation that you're in. I was brave enough in faith to walk in the direction that I wanted to go, knowing that I didn't want to die the way that I was going.
Yeah.
And so it's like, no, I complete, dude. I'll give you an example.
How about this as an example? The seclusion that you had to go through for a year. For the last year, you've basically been in seclusion, and I, like me as well. I did the same thing, but that shit is hard. That shit's hard on your mind. Being in straight seclusion and just being with yourself, for a large amount of the time. Let's talk about that for a second.
I realized that I didn't know who I was anymore. Is that something?
You lost your identity.
I completely lost who I was. I didn't know who I was anymore. I kept on hearing other voices and people telling me what I could and couldn't do, what I should and shouldn't do, the this and that, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it was just, everything was so loud in my head. Everybody and everything was so loud in my head for a few months. And, I'm not going to sit there and lie. There was nights where I cried myself to sleep. There was nights where, days where I was just crying all damn day, just trying to talk to the Lord, me and the Lord, and just trying to figure out who the fuck I was, because I didn't know. I didn't know who I was anymore. I was afraid to do everything because I was afraid that there was, it was just a crazy time. I don't know how to explain it, but it was just, I wasn't me. That makes no sense because I'm only me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And little by little bit, I just started kind of stepping back into myself. Little by little bit, I just started, being who I was, like rekindling that fire inside of me, having that relationship. And it always, you go to church and people will tell you, don't become religious. And it's like, I became religious. I became religious in the sense that I was worried about the outside and not about what was going on inside. And I didn't have a relationship with God. I didn't have a relationship with the Lord. How was I going to have a relationship with the Lord if I didn't even know who I was? You could say I was possessed.
Yeah.
And so I had to clear all those demons out. Like people don't, they fucking freak out. Oh my gosh, this guy is talking about demons. No, but shut the fuck up. It's the truth.
You can say what you want to here. Shit.
I was absolutely. It's exactly our whole point, right? This is exactly why we're doing this shit. We're talking to somebody today. Somebody's gonna fucking get a hold of this shit and be like, "Damn, these fools are legit."
Yep.
Telling the truth, and it's not legit because we're trying to be like legit. No, it's because
we're just like this.
We just want to talk the truth.
We're just like this.
This is the truth. This is who we are. And I was dealing with those demons, bro. I was demon possessed. It was horrible. And I was just, knocking them out. I'm still knocking them out.
And that's every day going to the gym. That's every day that you say no to something that you are borderline about thinking about. You know what I mean? That's just the discipline.
Yes.
These are the discipline demons.
And well, the whole thing is that where we allow light, darkness cannot stay in the light, right?
Right.
So I had to shine light inside of myself. I had to shine the light inside of myself on all those things that were just dark. And so the light is shining inside of me, and now it's a reflection of the truth. Because the truth is, I can stand next to a fat fuck like myself and hear him talk, and hear him talk, and hear him talk, and hear him talk, and he might spit a good game, but I know what's going on inside that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can tell me all the shit that you want, and that shit sounds really good, but I know what's going on inside because I can see it coming out of you.
Now, how do you get past that? You know, for me, it was just about basically just sacking up and just being like, I don't care what you think, dude. You know, like I got to do my own thing. You know, like you're on your path, dude. You know, like I'm on mine. Or like I don't have time to wait for you. I'm just gonna go do my own thing. That's the way I am about it. How did you get past it?
I grabbed onto the Lord, bro. I grabbed on to the relationship with the Lord, and I believed what the Lord was telling me about life. I believed and started believing what the Word was telling me as I read the Bible day in and day out. I'm just telling you what I did.
Well, I mean, like I had my nose, you know, pretty deep in the Bible too. You know, listening and reading and studying and really trying to understand and learn. You know, that's of course where it came from. But I mean, the courage that I get from, you know, the stories and the characters in the Bible is exactly what I'm talking about. You know, you know, like my favorite story is, you know, David and Goliath. You know, David's this little kid. You know, everybody. You know, Goliath is just talking shit to the whole, you know, Israelite army. And then David heard it and was like, "What? Like, homie, what? Like, what? Like." He got all yoked out and started walking out there. And his brother's like, "Hey, man, cool, chilly." He goes, "Man," he goes, "all you guys is just sitting there watching this dude, and you guys ain't gonna do nothing about it." And they're like, "Oh man, look how big he is, though, right?" And David's like, "Man, watch this." So he grabs a couple rocks, right? And he puts in his little sling, walks over there, like, "What's up, dude?" And then Goliath is like, "You guys send me this boy to mess with?" And he's like, "Boy, huh? Boy, you call me boy?" So he, bow, right in his freaking head, right? And everybody, and then at that time, you know, the whole Philistine army was like, "Whoa!" You know, the Lord's with, you know, David, and they all bounced. They didn't want nothing after that, and that's like you know, being down for yours. You know, that's sticking up for what you believe in, and nobody can touch you at that point. You know, like when you take on the biggest and the baddest of your problems in the beginning, you know, the rest of them it's like going downhill. You start at the top, you just work your way down. Now you're just busting everything down.
Everything stems from our Creator.
Everything stems from the Creator.
Everything, right? Everything, and the whole thing was, it wasn't like David had an ego trip. It wasn't an ego trip. He wasn't like,
no, you were like messing with his Lord. You know, you're messing with God. You know, don't mess with God. You know, like I got God's back. Right. You know, like don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. You know, like don't do that. You're not gonna like it. Not in front of me, at least. That's what David said. You know.
That's exactly right, and that's the thing is that and it goes back to those demons, right? I started to realize that it doesn't matter how many demons that I have inside of me, God is always going to be able to show me a way to defeat them. God's always going to give me a way to rid myself of the lies that I was telling myself about myself, and that others were telling me about myself, and that I wanted to believe. I was believing what people were saying outside, but I wasn't believing what God was telling me from inside. And I couldn't even get to that point because I wasn't allowing the light inside.
Man, that's deep.
And so it's like, it goes back to the same thing, allowance, right? What are we allowing to happen in our lives?
Well, you just asked the question. What are you allowing right now?
And so, right now I'm allowing greatness. Right now I'm allowing light. Right now I'm allowing truth, love, happiness,
courage,
peace, courage, faith. I'm allowing the true kingdom inside of my heart.
And you're talking about it. And
I'm allowing. Didn't we just say that earlier?
Yeah, and you're talking about it. You're doing it right now.
Yes.
This channel that we started. We're gonna have at some point. We're gonna have a huge following, and plenty of people are gonna like what we have to say, and that's just it. And we got to keep doing it because we're gonna have people that depend on like us for advice. It's not like ours is the best or the only way to go, but it's from two dudes that are actually out there making it now that used to be in the slum.
It's just like anything else. We're in the kingdom, and so God is the head, right? And we're just the servants. We're just serving the Lord, just like King David did. Just like so many pastors out there that are doing the same kind of thing. In the pastor area, motivator speakers. All these things, right? We're just doing our part. We're just shining light in the area of darkness that most people don't shine a light on, and we're doing it the way that we've been given to. And that's all it is. Why are we going to have followers? We're going to have people coming our way. We're going to have followers because they're not following us. They're following the truth that's in us. You know what I mean? Because the truth brings people around.
Everybody has truth. It's just, are they afraid to speak on it or not?
That's right.
Everybody has truth, but right. Are they vulnerable? Are they strong enough to speak about it? Are you?
Right.
Are you strong enough? Are you man enough? Are you okay with enough people calling you a dummy? Are you okay with? Are you strong enough for people to challenge you constantly? Because that's what it is. That's what it's going to be. When you're talking the truth, your truth, you have to back it up. When you're talking your truth, you have to back it up. If you say you don't care, don't care. If you say you do. Just be about the things that you're, keep your word. Be about your word.
And you know what's crazy?
And if your word changes, make sure you let everybody know, like, hey, I said something, but now I don't mean that no more. I mean this. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to be wrong. Shit. Just don't be in doubt.
I tell my son this all the time. I'm like, I want you to make mistakes. I don't want you to be afraid of making mistakes. Go out and do what you got to do. Now, I suggest that you be careful on whatever it is that you're going to be doing. Use your fucking head and figure that shit out. Don't just go out there and be like, yeah, well, maybe I should jump off this bridge. I don't know. That's a good idea, bro. But, if you think that's a good idea, then, if you really think it's a good idea and you think you're going to survive, then I don't know. Maybe you got something in me that I don't know. But I don't suggest it because most people that I know that jumped off a bridge didn't survive. As a matter of fact, I don't know anybody that's jumped off a bridge that survived. And if they did survive, they're not doing very well right now. So probably not a good idea as an example, And so it's like I tell my son shit like this all the time. It's like, you're going to go out with those set of friends? All right, cool, man. Just remember that, if you're going to go out with them, keep in mind who's in charge of who's driving, because he wasn't driving at the time. Right? And I'm like, dude, if someone's going to be driving that car, you got to make sure that they're okay to be driving, because they might not give a shit about you, but do you give a shit about you? And he would just kind of look at me. I'm like, dude, look, if they're going to be driving intoxicated, they're probably not in a good idea. They probably don't even know how to drive in the first place because they're so fucking young. They don't know what they're doing in the first place. I was there. I know.
All right. So crazy story. Check this out. This is me. Okay. So we're in a car, and I'm drunk. And I can't drive. I know I can't drive. My homeboy's drunk, and he knows he can't drive. And then we're with this chick, and she's like, "Yeah, I can drive." We're like, "Oh, cool." But we're like, "But you've been drinking just as much we have." She's like, "No, don't worry about that. And I was like, I don't think this is a good idea. But long story short, I went against my better judgment. Okay. And I actually got in the car. Okay. And this bitch was like skirt, 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 going like running red lights, stop signs, like I was scared as shit. I was just holding on oh my God, like, but that was my fault. If I would have died that night, if we got in an accident, I'd have been, you stupid mother, because that was me. I got in the damn car.
Right.
That's a passive approval, like, oh, it's there, but you ain't gonna say nothing about it.
Right. And you know what it is? I'm glad you're pointing that out right now, because as you're saying that, is you said the passive approval. Once you get to a point where you've allowed something to happen, don't bitch about it later.
Yeah.
You allow it to happen. Don't bitch about it later. Fix it. If you are able, if you survived that problem, you survived, because you could have easily been dead just like everybody else that's made that mistake.
Yeah. Just like I got a DUI. Like that shit sucks. But I did it. And I'm not going to do it again. There's more than one reason I don't drink, like people, I go to the bar and all that. And then, I'm trying to have a good time with my friends. They're like, hey, you should be drinking. I'm like, I don't want to drink. Like, well, you kind of look weird at a bar without drinking. I was like, fine, let me look weird. I was like, it's not you. Like, yeah, but you're rolling with me. I'm like, oh, well, okay. Well, so I'm just not cool enough with, cool enough for you because I don't drink. Is that what you're saying? I was like, all right, there's more than one reason I don't drink. More than one. More than 5 probably, but like, that's just the way it goes. I just don't do it no more.
Right. And that's just, that's what it comes down to, is just, we got to, take a look at where we're at and not be afraid to start cleaning it up. It's not going to be easy, but so fucking what? I mean, shit, nothing's easy. I mean, even, sitting on the couch all day isn't easy. That shit hurts my ass cheeks from sitting all day.
You get bored. You get bored sitting on the couch all day.
Being around playing video games, that shit ain't easy. That's hard on your eyes.
This shit's boring.
You know what I mean? It's like, nothing's easy. So then,
I'm not saying it's boring. I'm just saying, like, for doing it that long, shit gets old after a while.
Absolutely. I mean, I like watching flicks now and then. I was, like, I got to a point, right? Like, I'm at a point right now where I can't even sit through a whole thing anymore. So I'm just like, I got so much energy. I got so much energy that it's like, okay, I was watching that movie Dunkirk,
Yeah.
And I think I got through like the first 35, 40 minutes of it, and I started getting restless. I'm like, I need to get up. I need to do something. I got to do something. And so I put that shit on pause, and, that movie came out just like every other movie comes out. And it usually comes out on video, and it usually comes out on Netflix or some shit like that. I don't got to go to the movies and sit there for 2.5 hours, 3 hours anymore. I'm not saying it's not cool. I'm not saying don't go to the movies. I'm just saying I don't got to do that anymore. I'm cool. And so it's like,
all right, I'm going to cut you off there, Fonz. We're about at 48 minutes, and I just want to thank everybody on YouTube, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah,
starting from the bottom. Eric and the Doc, Chief and the Doc.
Damn.